Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a castle which is made mostly with the new vampire game pack. I don't know if it's vampires or vampire. I don't know. It's weird it being one word because we're so used to having it as multiple words, but it's actually, this castle is also inspired by Game of Thrones. And I had talked about this in my most recent Game of Thrones builds, but I'd actually thought to do Dragonstone Castle way before I even thought about doing King's Landing, the one which I did, the Red Keep. I thought about it way before, and this was the one which I was originally going to do, and I actually ended up doing King's Landing instead. But I'm so glad that I waited, because originally what I was going to do was I was going to use the sculptures of the dragons which we've got in the debug mode. And I was thinking, oh, it's not going to look that good because they're all going to be brown and they're all going to look the same, and there's not going to be variety. Whereas the sort of artist impressions of Dragonstone, they're all sort of, their wings are sort of flexing in different ways, and it looks really, really cool. I'll leave a picture of the inspiration which I got down below in the description. But yeah, you could just ignore that this is to do with Game of Thrones and just sort of, I guess, transport your mind and think of it as instead just a vampire pack build, and I guess that's kind of what it is. But it really, really suits this landscape. And I was thinking, because the actual castle was built up in a mountain, and I was really struggling, thinking, how am I going to make a mountain in the background of this and also, you know, build a castle into it? How am I going to do this? But this way, I mean, it's not, you know, the biggest, you know, it's 30 by 40, so it's not a very big lot. You know, there's 50 by 50 and 40 by 50 and 64 by 64, so it means that, you know, it is a smaller lot, but I don't have to include a mountain, so bonus points for that one. But I bet loads of you have just been stuck on the vampire pack, if you're being able to, you know, if you've been able to get it yet, just constantly. I haven't been able to play properly in live mode yet, and I really, really want to. And I was avoiding, because I was doing a first impressions sort of review. It was the first ever one I did, so I really wanted it to be, I guess, authentic. I didn't want to, you know, already know what a lot of, I mean, we've got the trailers, but I didn't want to know already, you know, how it was going to look and all the different items and how the interactions were going to work. I did want to have like a little peek at maybe the powers we were getting and that kind of stuff, but I tried to make it that I came in completely new and fresh into it so that I could, you know, react to it properly. So I was avoiding Twitter, I wasn't watching anyone's videos, and I think some people got an early release. I didn't with this. Sorry, a sore throat still. Eventually we'll have a video soon where I haven't got a sore throat and I have to stop. But this sore throat has been lasting a ridiculously long time. But yeah, so it's really, really cool. I've really loved and enjoyed all of these different items. And also, I've just put them down, but we've got new freezers on the end of the edges of the walls there. I think that's what they're called. But we've got new ones, and I missed it from my review. I didn't even see. They didn't come up as like a yellow symbol, so I didn't realise. But that is so cool, because now we don't have like those white blocks, you know, because there's the black and the white ones. And I've seen other builders have to cover up the white bits because they want it all black, and it's like such a faff. I think I saw Hatsi do that, and now she doesn't have to do that, and none of the rest of us do either. We can have something which is one solid colour, which is awesome. I have a feeling, based on the look and, you know, looking at the community, that this is, if you like to download builds which you've seen other builders make, I think this is one that you're going to have to buy, because I have a feeling, especially if you like castles, maybe if you like more modern stuff, then you may get away with not having to buy this one. But if you like older stuff, then, and castles and stuff, I think you won't get away with not buying this pack, because it is so amazing and it's so good. And even if you don't like vampires, you don't have to actually play in the vampire world or anything like that. Although, I think possibly you'd be missing out. But if you've got like a world where you don't want vampires to be in it, you don't have to have them in there. So that's pretty good. They'll just be in Forgotten Hollow and you just, you know, ignore them and that kind of thing. But yeah, so getting onto the build, it's kind of a weird shape. It's quite, I guess, squashed from front to back, but it was actually, like, I think possibly it's supposed to be bigger than that, like this, in sort of width, but I actually quite like how it is, and it was difficult to furnish, but I'm pretty happy with how it sort of went. And you might see at the front there, it's got sort of that wiggly bit at the front. I mean, a lot of castles have a barrier sort of wall around the outside for protection purposes anyway, but I made it that shape because in a lot of the pictures it kind of looked like they made it sort of look like wings. And I'd searched before doing this, and I'd thought about it while I was looking at the game pack to try and find something that looked like wings that I could put in the front. And I even like dragged down some of the objects like from the fairy statue and put it in the basement when I was practicing, and put the, you know, have the wings sticking out, and it just wasn't looking good. And so what I actually end up doing is I grab all of the new gravestones that we've got with the pack, and I sort of layer them up so the wall is made out of gravestones. And I thought that's kind of quite dark but also quite cool, you know, for the for it being the castle in Forgotten Hollow. I thought that would be quite a cool effect. So you can see me doing it now, and I just sized them up. And if you don't know how to use this, how to size up objects, I've also done it with the gargoyles and the dragon sort of statue things. And you actually press, if you're on the Mac, it's a good idea to, I think it's Control or Command, I can't remember which one, and then you press the 9 and the 0 keys, but you have to be careful, because if you press the 9 key on its own quite often, it will, that's also a set, like 5 to 9 on the keypad up the top. That is also shortcuts for if you've taken any screenshots, so that's a shortcut for that. So it may end up, if you don't press the Command or Control key, I can't remember which one it is, but if you don't press that, then your camera might zoom to the other side of the map, and that has happened to me. You might have seen it in some of my videos, but I think it gives quite a cool effect. And at this point I didn't actually know what I was going to do for the wall. Like, I didn't know what to do as the wallpaper for it yet, and I was really unsure, and I kept trying things off camera, and I didn't think that any of it looked good. Oh, also, I should probably mention, I meant to say this at the beginning, we started off with this being in Windenburg, but then I'd actually built that bit before we got the pack, and that was just sort of the shell of the building, and then I actually then moved it to Forgotten Hollow afterwards, so that I keep thinking like to call it Hallows or something like that. Maybe that is what it is. Maybe my brain is telling me. I don't know. But whatever the place is, I moved it to here because obviously it needs to be in here, and it has the mountains in the back. So that's really, really cool. But yeah, so I'm quite happy with how this went. And I did have the werewolves on each side as different sizes, but don't worry guys, I did fix that in the end. If you are actually concentrating on the build, you were probably like, Zoe, you need to change that. I'm gonna do my night if you don't change that. But yeah, so I still haven't decided on what kind of brick I wanted, and I ended up doing it as sort of like quite a, I mean, I thought I was gonna do it as like a dark brick, one of the new ones we got, but it just didn't look right. I didn't like how it looked, and so I was thinking one of the reasons why this is looking, I felt like it was actually going quite well, and I thought that it looked quite good, and I think that was because there was a little bit of contrast between the walls and all the details, and if I was doing it too dark, it all sort of blended into each other, and I was thinking I needed to have like different wallpapers and stuff to have it in certain areas and all of that kind of stuff, and in the end it just worked out that if I put it as a lighter one, it looked much nicer, so that's what I did. And it turns into this sort of light grey, but you'll see that. You probably saw that in screenshots and stuff. But you'll see here that I'm doing the roof, and it's quite complicated. I also put in this sculpture from City Living, because although they're birds, they could be dragons. They could be. But you'll see, like, in the front corners, I was finding it really difficult to put in some of the roofing there. So instead, I just put some of those spiky things that we have on top of the roofs. So I think that's one of the things with roofing. It does take a lot of practice and it is difficult to try and make it look nice. But as long as you feed all of the pieces into each other, and it will end up looking alright. Like, even if they're the most higgledy-piggledy different things, as long as you try and, you know, eliminate as many of the seams of the roof that you can and feed them into each other so it sort of looks maybe a little bit more seamless, you can get away with it. When you've got, like, the edges, like if you've got a gabled roof, I think that's what they're called, the ones with the open end on one side, if you've got those and you've got like a corner of that sticking out, I mean, I have had it in some of my builds. I think my elven build, I did that. I had something sort of sticking out, and actually it worked pretty well because it was supposed to be quite higgledy-piggledy, and it works out. But most of the time, if you've got all of those sort of tucked in, if you know, lower the roof height so that they all sort of feed into each other, it ends up looking okay. And it is trial and error, and it does take a long time, but it is worth it. Like, just practice. And I think part of it as well is you need to look at it as not as much of a perfectionist. Like, if you really want to make everything completely and utterly perfect, it won't turn out that way, in my opinion, unless you're very, very skilled. But from my experience, if you just sort of be a little bit more loose with it, like you just put something in to see if it works. It doesn't work, try something else, or find a way of making it work, you know, just sort of adapt as you go. That's what I found has, you know, made my building with roofs a bit more successful. I have been meaning to do a tutorial actually with roofing, but I have no idea where to start with that. It's like, it seems like such a big subject, and I have no idea where, you know, how to even get into it, because it's like, I guess because every building is different, so every roofing has to be different, and I guess it would just be basic sort of things, a bit like how I just kind of explained then, but I don't feel like I explained that very well, so I don't know. But I was going to do one which was specifically for circular rooms, because I did a circle tutorial. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I can do one. Maybe I will fail. But maybe I'll record one and try and plan one and edit it like crazy. And maybe it'll start looking okay. Who knows? Oh, but I really love these new windows. I use them to death. But I feel like with these items that we've got in the game, I don't know, it just seems to blend. Like, they're all from the same pack, so maybe that's part of it, but they all blend together so perfectly. I feel like sometimes do you see there, I was trying to make sort of more detail there with the darker thing and it didn't work. Oh, also, before I move on, the cracks in the walls, I found that sometimes when you put them on the walls, you can't really see them, especially from the distance. So if you size them up, then they become darker and more prominent on the walls. So that's a tip for you there. But anyway, as I was saying, I find that sometimes with the swatches not matching and trying to find swatches that actually match to each other and making things, you know, all coherent with each other, it can be really, really difficult. And I felt like with this pack, even with some of the other objects that, I mean, I didn't use a lot of objects from other packs, but still, with a lot of the objects from other packs, I was, you know, that I did end up using, everything just blended so seamlessly, and they just seem to be colorways that do work with the rest of what we've got in the game, which I'm really thankful for. And they may not be compatible with base game, like with the swatches, but I have found that some of them are compatible with some of the other packs and stuff like that we've got before. So it seems like, I don't know, I feel like they're listening. I feel like I've been bombarded with all this new content recently for The Sims, and it's phenomenal. I can't get over the amount of stuff that we've got recently, and I don't know, I feel like quite a lot of people were unhappy, and fair enough, this may not be to everyone's taste what we've got now, but I really don't see a reason to complain anymore. The quality of the content that we've been getting recently has been so good. And I know I don't normally talk about that kind of stuff, but I try to keep out of it because I feel like there's so much negativity, and quite a lot of the time I am quite positive about the content which Sims have been releasing and that kind of thing. But I feel like the stuff that we've got recently has really blown everything out of the water. I really love what we've been getting and really appreciative of it. I think it's so good, and I know that's not everyone's opinion, but I don't think The Sims will please everyone. But I feel like, you know, some of these items aren't my personal taste, and I wouldn't have them personally in my house. However, I can appreciate that they're very well done. It's like music. It's like, you may not like that genre of music, but you can appreciate that person's done it very, very well. I think that's kind of what people need to look at when they look at, you know, the stuff in The Sims. Not every sim is going to be the same. So not every sim is going to be, you know, I don't know, a 22-year-old. That's how old I am. Not every sim is going to be a 22-year-old, which is, you know, trying to find their way in the world. You know, it's not like that, and not everyone's like that. Although we play a lot of Sims which are young adults, which are starting off in their life and that kind of thing, not everyone's like that. And I feel like quite a lot of the things in The Sims possibly reflect, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people say there still isn't enough diversity in the game and the objects and the CAS items and all of that kind of stuff. I'm still waiting for a long curly hair, because I have long curly hair. And they don't even have my hair colour in The Sims. I have like mousy brown, sort of blonde hair, and it's really curly. But we don't have anything in The Sims, and I'm really thankful, actually. I'm so happy, because I have gap teeth. Like, I have a gap in the front of my teeth, and now I can have a Sim self which actually has a gap between their front teeth. I'm really excited. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and look for some CC which has like curly hair that's kind of my hair colour, and maybe make a Sim self. I did ask on Twitter the other day whether people knew any good places where there was CC, because I haven't really got into it. Like, I guess it's because I've been, you know, scared of download. Like, the first time I was like, right, I'm going to download something. So I went on this website and I started to download it. And I had, like, Adblock on, because I have, like, 2 browsers. And on one I have Adblock on, and then the other one I use for, like, YouTube and stuff, because I don't like using Adblock on, you know, content which I'm watching. It's, you know, people's income. So I guess as another YouTuber, I can see, you know, I don't want to use Adblock on other people. But yeah, anyway, so I went onto this website and I clicked on sort of the download, and I've seen loads of other, you know, videos where people have downloaded CC and everything's gone so smoothly, and it took me to this Korean website. I have no idea what it was, but everything was in Korean, and there were all these pop-ups in Korean, and I was like, isn't Adblock supposed to be, like, you know, helping with this? What is going on? And so I just exited out of the browser, and I was like, I'm done. I don't want to have anything to do with this. And it was from someone, it was, you know, something which was really heavily downloaded as well, something I've seen in almost everyone's things. So I don't know what happened with mine. Maybe I clicked in the wrong place. Maybe I need to be a bit more careful with that, but I have been a bit scared to go back into the sort of the CC world and download things, but I will have to be more careful. But yeah, maybe it was just a fluke, who knows. But yeah, so I do want to step back into it. I have, the only thing which I have of CC is the eyelashes in the game, and I really like using those. Now that I've started using them, I really like using them. And I guess I could still play The Sims without them. Like, I'm not really dependent on them, but I do much prefer having, you know, the normal eyelashes and being able to sort of customize them. I really like that, having that in the game. So that's quite nice. But yeah, I do want to go and sort of, you know, find CC. I don't think I'd ever do build and buy items in CC, because if I'm building something for you guys, like, I think Sims, like the actual Sims themselves, it's okay because they're like characters in the actual story, and you don't need to have that, you know, you don't need to have that in your game, like that exact person, or they can just have a different hairstyle. It's not a big deal. But I think that with build and buy items, if you guys are sitting, you know, building is the most popular thing on my channel, so if you guys are here to do that, then I don't think it's very fair to have CC items that you guys would then have to download to then enjoy the content, which I don't know, it's a grey area, isn't it? But I personally don't want to have any, even if it's Maxis Match, I don't really want to have any CC in my game. I just want to have it, you know, straight up actual EA content. But yeah, anyway, so we've been going on with the interior for a bit, and I am in love with these chandeliers. I love them so much. Although they are different heights, like from the ceiling, the bigger ones drop down more, so it kind of looks like they're off center. So I'm like, oh, I need to fix that, but it is in center. It is, trust me. I think I even put down, I pressed the G key to put the grid back on again. I think I might have even done that to check. But yeah, no, I do like to have them center. I mean, it's some rooms, like some of the rooms that I have in this build, they're such weird shapes, and I have a habit of making really weird shaped rooms, but they're like that, so I can't exactly put it dead in the center, but I put it as close as I can, you know. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I've had quite a nice, you know, past week or so. Things have been tricky at work, like I said in my last video, but my boyfriend's been staying around. He's been able to get 2 weeks off work, and he's come down to stay with me, which is really, really nice. And we went out for a dog walk today, and one of my puppies, she's very energetic and she likes to run around. She's a spaniel, and so she has a lot of energy, and so she was just sort of running and slamming into things like she does. It's like she gets so excited. I don't think that all is up there, you know. But I think she's a smart dog. She learns like things really, really quickly, and when we actually have her attention, she does like things which we like. She sits really well, and you know, she goes places and she comes to us, and you know, she sits and then you know, loads of stuff which she does, which is really well behaved. But it's getting her attention, which is the thing, 'cause she's so loopy. But other than that, she's a well-behaved dog. But we were on the walk today, and it was getting to the point, because there's sort of a lane which we go down which has like farmland either side, and it's this little lane that ends up going on a like a protected path, like it joins the protective path, so it's like loads of people walk their dogs there and that kind of thing. And, you know, there's no cars or anything like that. So it's all, you know, it's okay to take the... I mean, if you've got a very well-behaved dog, then you don't need to have them on a lead anyway. But we like to have them on the lead, even though they are well-behaved. We don't have it in tight. We have one of those really long, stretchy ones, just so that if they're not concentrating and they're playing and they actually accidentally fall into the road, you know, we can pull them out again, you know, and, you know, have a better control on them just in case, you know, worse for worse. But when we do go down that lane, we take the leads off of them, and we were just about to put them back on because we were coming to this sort of end of the path, and there was still quite a long way. And my dog, her name's Chutney. I have a dog called Chutney and a dog called Marmite, and Marmite is very well behaved. She's about 2, so she's calmed down a bit. She's not as much of a puppy anymore, and she's calmed down a lot, and she's very well behaved. She's a really well behaved dog. Still likes to have loads and loads of fun, and isn't, you know, boring as a dog. I guess I don't want to be mean by saying that, but she's very well behaved, and so we told them to wait, and they just, you know, she just sat down immediately and sat there patiently and didn't move whatsoever, and just waited for someone to come over and take off her lead, or put it back on, sorry. Chutney, however, she ran through, she like ran away, she went down into a ditch, up again, and then went into this field next door, and there was like a gap in the hedge, and I was shouting for her, and she was really like dazed and excited, but I think maybe there was a gust of wind and she got very excited about it, but so she was going loopy, and I had to sort of shout for her, and she came sort of to the entrance of the hedge. But the thing was there was a big lawnmower, because it was a football field next to us, so it was a big lawnmower, and I couldn't, because it was a really foggy day, and the noise of it was echoing everywhere, so I had no idea where this lawnmower was, and the hedge was quite high, and it had gaps in it, but I couldn't see where it was, and so I was really, really frightened that she would run away. And like, you know, normally if they run a little bit and then run back, it's not a big deal, because, you know, there's nothing to get them hurt. But if she runs in front of this lawnmower, I don't want to think about it. But so I was shouting for her, and she wasn't she was just staying there and being sort of standing in place and running around in circles, and me and my boyfriend were shouting for her to come to us, and in the end I had to sort of go, right, I gotta get you. And so I was like sort of being quite shouty so that she knew, you know, I thought that maybe she wouldn't run away that way and wouldn't think that it was a game and like, oh, she's running after me, I'll run too, sort of thing, because that's what my dogs are like. But so I came over to her and I sort of grabbed her by the collar, and so she was like all sort of cowering and really, really sad. She was like, oh, I'm really sorry, sort of thing. And I had to sort of pull her back up, and I feel really, really weird about it, and I don't like it, but she did have to know that it was wrong, so I gave her like this really light tap on the bum just so that she knows. Hey. Oh no.
You gotta put that in the video.
Oh no, I gotta take it out.
No, you gotta put it in the video.
I've already stopped it.
Yeah, but how funny would it be if someone's like it? You go, oh my god.
No, because it's gonna scare them.
Yeah, no, that's the point.
Alright, love you lots.
Love you lots.
What was I saying? But I don't like doing it, and I feel really weird about it. So it was like a really, really light tap. It wasn't even, you know, like a hit. It was just a light tap, and like something that you would, I don't know, very, very lightly. I would never, you know, do it. But she had to know that it was wrong. And I don't think sort of, I know it's just it makes me uncomfortable, but I did it, and then the rest of, like, we afterwards we gave her loads and loads of cuddles, and even though she was filthy because she'd been running through the fields, she was sodden, she was so wet and covered in mud, but we gave her little cuddles after we put the collar back on because she was being well behaved, and for the rest of the thing she wasn't like pulling on her lead at all, and she was being really well behaved. So still, you know, running around and smelling things and doing doggy stuff, but much better behaved. But yeah, it's tricky with dogs, isn't it? Because I don't know, it feels so weird, but it's one of those things, you can't tell them why it's a bad idea for them to go running off into a field with a lawnmower in it. Like, you can't tell them that like you can a kid, but like, it's just so weird. I don't know, it's maybe a very controversial thing, and I'd never do anything to actually hurt her at all, but it was a light tap, and yeah, it's just really awkward. But anyway, let's get back to the build because it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why I brought it up, but we're on to the master bedroom, and this is supposed to be quite grand, and I found with quite a lot of master bedrooms recently, I've been putting them as like really rich colours, like reds and that kind of thing, but this one I did sort of like cool tones, and so it's like blues and silvers, and I still think it looks quite sort of grand and over the top. Especially, thing is, this flooring, I like it, however when you actually put it in big rooms, it's too much. Like, I don't know, maybe the square one is okay, and maybe if you use it in smaller rooms like bathrooms, or if you use it in small spaces, like maybe like if you've got a room that is half a kitchen, half a living room, and you just put it in the kitchen bit and you have the rest of it as flooring, it probably would work quite well. However, I feel like in a big room like that with a lot of items anyway, I feel like it's good for a room which doesn't have a lot of stuff in it, because it fills up and makes it look more busy than it actually is. So, but this room's already really busy, so I end up actually changing it. I've got the wood panels down here now, but I ended up doing it for the other wood panels that we got with the game, the ones which were more detailed. These ones here, and you'll see I put them in the grey, and I think actually it looks quite nice because it has sort of that detail on the ground, but it's not too much. But I want to find a way that I can use those other ones properly. I mean, I do use them in the hallway downstairs. However, I feel like that room's like really antsy anyway. I just put some statues in it, so it's still, I need to find a way that I can use them and use them well, because I do like them, but they're just too much like in big rooms. I guess I'll find a way. This room, however, is supposed to be basically a teen bedroom for a vampire, and it is supposed to be sort of a more rebellious one. So it's got like scratches on the walls, and it's all red, and it's like, I don't know, very angsty, I think. And maybe, you know, the vampire which lived there would be very aggressive and sort of scratch the walls and that kind of thing. And it's got a guitar because possibly it's like a cool kid, and I don't know. But with the coffins, they've got like a really big sort of green area around them that you should keep clear, but I put them up against the wall, and I don't know, because I haven't played with them yet, so I don't know whether that's important or not to have the space at the back. I mean, it's got all the space around it, but I'm not sure how important it is. Maybe the coffin sort of moves around a little bit, you know, when they're doing the woohoo. But who knows? I don't. Maybe you guys could let me know in the comments, so that if I do make any more vampire builds and you've made it this far to the video, again, congratulations for making it this far in the video. But yeah, if you have made it this far, maybe you can let me know any, you know, if maybe I'll play with it, you know, before that point, and I can actually tell whether you need to have the coffin, you know, further away from the wall or not. But I hope that this can still work for you. I did test quite a lot of it, but it's general moving around. It wasn't like whether they could get into the coffins or not. I know, you know, I should have probably done that, but there are enough beds, and there is space for you to move the coffins if you need to. So yeah, and in the master bedroom, it's got the coffins and the bed, and that was so that for your vampires, if they haven't got to the stage yet where they're not allowed to, or if you haven't chosen whether they, you know, not to have them sleep in beds, then you can have them actually sleep in a bed, or, you know, there's the coffins in there too, but also the bed could just be for woohooing. Who knows? Whatever you want to do with it. But I really wanted to use that really grand bed, and I felt it had to go in that master bedroom, and it is a very, very big room. So I thought, seeing as I actually have a really big room, it's something I can actually fill it with, because I really struggle sometimes with the big rooms, trying to get actually items to fill all of the spaces in. And just a quick tip, because we're going to finish soon, but I was really struggling with this space and how I was going to use it upstairs in this living area, sort of landing area. Actually, that looks quite pretty, whatever that blue was. I think it looks quite nice. Maybe I should have kept that. Anyway, maybe not in this room, but another time. I'll have to look back at how I did that. Running out of time. But I was really struggling with it, and what I ended up doing was actually putting just that wall there, and it was a divider with the room, and it meant that I didn't have to deal with those sort of awkward doors in the way, and it meant I can use up the middle of the room and not have everything to the edge, and it was a way of getting around how I was, you know, doing everything. But I felt like it worked quite well. But we are almost at the end, so thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for watching, you know, this far into the video, and I really hope to see you again soon.